In this video, we will discuss alpha textures, also commonly known as opacity textures. You may already guess the function of these textures just by the names. Essentially, they are one-channel images that we use to control the opacity or the transparency of materials. White color means fully opaque, while black color means transparent. The most common use of the alpha texture is for foliage, especially tree leaves. There are two common methods of how people use or store alpha textures. The first is as an independent file apart from the color texture, and the second method is by combining it inside the color texture file. So, in the first method, you will have two files, one for the color texture consisting of three channels, red, green, and blue, and another file for the alpha texture in grayscale color. While in the second method, you will have one file consisting of 4 channels in total, 3 channels for the color information, and 1 channel for the alpha. Please note that not all image file formats support the alpha channel. JPEG format, for example, does not support the alpha channel. Therefore, you can only use the first method if you prefer the JPEG file format. On the other hand, PNG, EXR, TIFF, and TGA all support the alpha channel. So, if you are using these file formats, you are free to choose either the first method or the second method. Alright? For practice, I'll be using the file from the previous lesson. But to see the transparency effect better on the viewport, let's first open the viewport rendering panel, and then bring the strength value back to 1. Also, set the world opacity value all the way to 1. Currently, the geometry of the plane object that we have here is too dense, so let's just hide it for now. Let's create a new plane object which is still a single face. Finally, let's create a new material for it. Okay, if you open ambiencg.com and search for leaf, you can find this texture set called leaf 001. As you can see, it provides JPEG versions in 1K to 4K resolution and also PNG versions in 1K to 4K resolution. Let's download the 1K PNG texture set so that later we can compare the two methods. Okay. After you download the texture set, you can see that this texture set contains an alpha texture with the word opacity behind its name. At the same time, the color texture also has a transparent background. This indicates that the image actually contains alpha information inside it. To use this texture set quickly and easily, as always, we can rely on a Node Wrangler add-on. So select the Principled VSDF node, then press Shift-Ctrl-T. For now, we want to see the first method. So select the color texture, normal GL, opacity, and roughness, and then click this button to confirm. And here is the result. As you can see, with just a single face or 4 vertices in total, we can simulate a complex silhouette leveraging the alpha texture. Imagine if you have to model this leaf manually. It will take dozens of vertices just to get the leaf shape right. From this example also, we can learn that to use an alpha texture, you need to set the image texture node to non-color, and then plug the color output into the alpha input slot. Alright? The second method of using the alpha texture is by making use of the alpha channel stored in the color texture. Again, I need to remind you that this is only possible if the color texture does contain an alpha channel. If, for example, you have a JPEG file for the color texture, then this method is not applicable. Okay? Let's first unplug the alpha texture. You can see the material now becomes fully opaque. Now, notice that besides the color output, the image texture also has an alpha output. This is what we need to use to connect to the alpha input slot in the Principled VSDF node. As you can see, we get the same transparent effect as before. Okay guys, so that is basically how we can use the alpha textures in Blender.